Okay, welcome back to TWNB podcast. And now I with Yudi in here, and I'm Bagus, cloud engineer specializing in Kubernetes, and my partner.
Okay, and I am Yudi, a cloud engineer working with OpenStack. It's great to be back with you all to discuss another interesting topic.
Okay, Yudi. Before we dive into to the main discussion, how are you doing, Yudi?
I'm doing well, Bagus. Busy with some exciting project in the world of OpenStack. How about you?
Yeah, me too. Pretty good. Keeping busy with Kubernetes and final exam, right? And first off, Yudi, what's your currently on your lab in the OpenStack world?
Well, Bagus, I've been immersed in a couple of challenging projects lately, working on optimizing resource management and enhancing security measures in our OpenStack environment.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Me too. Over in Kubernetes land, I've been knee deep and deploying and managing containerized application, like on working at current, and always something new and keep exiting happening.
Absolutely, it's the dynamic nature of our field that keeps us on our toes. Oh yes, maybe there are friends or viewers here who don't understand what is OpenStack and Kubernetes are. Before that, Bagus and I were colleagues in a company providing cloud computing operational services, but with the different specialization or teams. I manage OpenStack while Bagus manage Kubernetes. So, who will explain it first?
Okay, maybe you can go first. Explain OpenStack.
Okay, so what is OpenStack? OpenStack is open source platform that help build and manage public and private cloud, usually called a uh, IaaS or infrastructure as a service platform. That's all companies to add storage, networking, and server component to their cloud.
Oh, okay.
OpenStack platform use cloud virtual resource to handle core computing services. The service include compute, networking, storage, identity, image services.
Okay, Yudi.
Compute is like server, bare metal, and networking is like network device, Cisco, Big
Okay.
and then storage is like SSD, hard disk, and then identity is like credential.
It's
Some
like public
example of
cloud, like
cloud
Google Cloud.
computing services.
Yeah,
What, Lucas?
it's like you managing and public cloud, but in private. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Some
OpenStack
expense.
can build private cloud or public cloud, but usually is OpenStack provide for private clouds.
Okay. Yeah.
Some example of cloud computing services such as GCP, Google Cloud Computing, and then Amazon Web Service, AWS, Microsoft Azure Cloud, and then Alibaba Cloud, Huawei Cloud. But if you are a layman who doesn't understand the cloud, one of the popular clouds that many people may use is Google Drive, which is an
Oh, okay.
application upload storage service. I'm sure many people know and use Google Drive services.
Okay. So,
Regarding the explanation of Kubernetes, it might be delivered by you because he is the one the one who take care of the day-to-day work on Kubernetes.
Okay, Yudi. Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration system for automating software deployment, scaling, and management. Kubernetes is originally designed by Google. The project is now maintained by Cloud Native Foundation. The name Kubernetes originates from ancient Greek meaning helmsman or pilot. And starting from monolith architecture, where in one operating system environment there are many application service such as database, backend, front end, and etc. Okay. In some I'm sorry. Okay, in some condition this is very risky and not scalable. So monolith have risky to price. It's very high and not scalable when a monolith system or monolith application go down and is gone. It's broken. So Kubernetes, when the main operating system has problem, our service will be disrupted. The presence of Kubernetes bring the microservices architecture start breaking down different services in the different environment with efficient use of resource. So Kubernetes have a lot plus point plus. Okay, many startup or e-commerce company have started to apply Kubernetes right now, like Shopee, Tokopedia, Bukalapak can provide high service availability. Okay, Yudi, maybe that's all from me.
Oh, wow, so amazing. Google created Kubernetes, and many startup or e-commerce have started to apply Kubernetes technology to provide.
Yeah, Kubernetes have a lot demand from right now because it's easy to use, or developer or maintainer right now have a lot choice to like scale the the environment for production. Maybe that's all about OpenStack and Kubernetes. Jadi we you are busy at work right now, right? So speaking of keeping busy, let's talk how we spend our spare time in this digital this digital era. Okay, both of us is being a cloud enthusiast. We often find ourselves experimenting in our cloud life.
Okay, that's right. I believe utilizing our space time productively is crucial. For instance, I've been delving into various aspects of OpenStack in my life, trying out different configuration and optimizing performance.
Oh, so yesterday you talked about security, right? But in Kubernetes it called RBAC or role. So can you explain what about in OpenStack maybe about that's limit the user to access some resources?
About what? I can hear you, Bagus.
You yesterday explained about how to limit users can access resources in OpenStack. Can you explain about that a little bit?
How to limit resource or access?
Yeah.
Uh, for if you want to limit resource in OpenStack, you can go to dashboard, quota project. In here, you can set limitation value for limit resource in project OpenStack. But
Oh,
if
okay.
you wanna to limit access in OpenStack, you can play with some configuration. This is calling RBAC, role based access rule.
Okay.
You can configure that for limiting access.
Oh, limiting access, right? Okay. And I'm right now in Kubernetes. What experiment about continuous integration and continuous the deployment? It's really hype right now, and it's been game changer for me. It's not only enhance the efficiency from developer, but also at the layer of automation, the development process. It's very simple. You just click and push code to repository, and the CI/CD is running, and that's a very game changer for right now. Yeah.
Wow, this is so interesting.
Oh.
Okay.
So it's not about work, it's about continuous learning right now, and spending time in the lab help us to stay in the curve. Okay, the digital era offers countless opportunity for skill development, right? Whether it's mastering new tool, exploring a different cloud service, or diving into the world of automation, there always something to we learn. So you uh, and in digital area right now, outside from we work and cloud, maybe you can explain um, how you maintain yourself in this digital area. So right now is so much political issue. We have a lot of hoax news, or we have a lot of negative content at maybe at TikTok or Instagram about jokes and dark jokes or anything. So can you explain how you keep like in the right position right now? Something like that.
Wait, what you mean? You mean is how I maintain my time or manage my time in digital era
Yes, it's
to keep productive. To keep productive, is
yeah,
what you mean?
yeah, maybe it's
Oh,
so.
okay. I have interest answer for this. Uh, I actually rarely do anything productive in our free times because we often run out of time to learn new things related to the need for knowledge and insight to support our daily work. In
Okay.
the office, the two of in the office, I get new job where we have to research and study first. So this is my time. Uh, I not free time. Uh,
Okay.
Wait.
So
So usually I don't have free time actually.
oh, in digital era you keep learning like that, maybe about something new in technology.
Uh, how about you?
Okay, I spend time with my era. This digital era is maybe outside of work. I just playing game, or I reading some article. I have love with technology, like so one YouTube channel like Linus Tech Tip. It's have content like PC Unbox, like that. So right now I'm interesting about that, and maybe it productive too, right? You learning about new hardware and some technology interesting. Like right now, you know about like Google create a Google Vision, and that's a very hype right now. And maybe it's future too, right?
Amazing. Okay, you have some hobby, Bagus? Hobby or just something of fun, not productive?
My hobby is maybe like previously I say, like I have a lab on my computer right now using Hyper-V. So using virtualization, you can exploring the cloud, right? Like you too like lab on, yeah, lab. My hobby is lab, and so watching YouTube maybe, and reading some article about tech, and like that too. I spending in this digital area, di digital era.
Oh, wow, your hobby is still productive.
Yeah, still productive. You
Nice, bro.
yeah. So uh right now it's very easy to searching information, right? Like in 90s maybe the word the first new world wide web is not right, not just like right now, because you searching information for today is just you type on Google, you have the information, and that make me, not me, we productive too. Easiest to search anything information. Maybe that's all can we discussions today. uh, okay, you can to closing this
Wow.
discussion. Okay, and that warps up our discussion of productive ways to spend your spare time in digital area. We hope you find some inspiration to make the most of your free time more productive, right, Yudi?
What is Bagus? I can hear you very
Okay.
clear because
Okay.
your mic noisy.
Okay, okay. So that's all from this podcast. And if you have any question or topics, like us covered in the future episode, or feel free to reach out in comment below. Until next
Oh,
time, keep exploring and innovating and keep productive in digital era. Right, Yud?
okay. Yes,
Okay,
bro.
thanks everyone. That's all of we. Thank you, and see you in the next podcast. I'm Ngura
Thank
Bagus
you.
and my partner Yudi. Thank you.
Jadi, thank you Bagus to inviting me.